All right. We are getting ready to bring in our next guests. So right before I do that, I am going to get to our trivia question and one more announcement, and then we'll bring them right on here. So our first announcement is the first caller of this hour with $100 donation or more is going to get a quart of frankincense and myrrh handcrafted coconut wax candle. And this is compliments of Dave and Cindy Lang. So if you call in and you donate $100 or more this hour, and you're the first person to do that, you're going to get that candle. That sounds pretty cool. So I might have to try and beat people to it. We'll see. I'll let you guys get it. I'll give my donation later, but call into 785-621-4110 for your pledge. If you also want to answer a question, that's the same number, 785-621-4110. And we are getting ready to get that question right now. Get ready. Get your phones ready. Here we go. How many times has Father Fred been featured on Double-Edged Sword? Oh my, I wouldn't have known this. So take a stab at it. See what you get. Haha, get it. Stab, double-edged sword. All right, here we go. Is it A, over 500, B, 275 to 300, C, 150 to 200, or D, 350 to 375? So the question is, how many times has Father Fred been featured on Double-Edged Sword? A, over 500, B, 275 to 300, C, 150 to 200, or D, 350 to 375. Call 785-621-4110. Let's get those phones ringing. Let's get those pledges going. All right. I get to let you guys, let me turn on your mics here. I guess I get to let you guys introduce yourselves. So go for it, sir.
I'm Randy Huser.
Okay.
St. Boniface Church in Vincent, southeast of Victoria. I'm here to talk about the nativity we have at our church.
Absolutely.
And my name's Stephanie Eckroat. I'm also a member of St. Boniface, and I'm here to help Randy get people to come out and see our beautiful nativity.
Okay, Stephanie, that's not who I had on.
Yeah, the other one, Carol came down with the flu, so we have a replacement.
Okay, well, we'll pray for her.
Yeah.
Stephanie, what's your last name?
Eckroat.
Okay. Spell that for me.
Eckroat.
All right. Thank you. Because I have a hard enough time with names. I don't want to get it wrong. Just keep calling you Carol.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much for being here. I actually got to see this for the first time a few years ago. And it is really neat. That is awesome that you guys do this. So how long have you been involved with it?
Probably since junior high, I would say, when I started putting the nativity up. And
seriously?
Yeah, and ever since then. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so,
wow. Well, we won't ask how many years that's
yeah,
been.
so,
we'll just say it's been a few.
Yeah. So yeah, since the 80s. Yeah. Early 80s. Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So the little town of Bethlehem is an extraordinarily large and unique nativity scene that is on display at St. Boniface in Vincent. And this is only during the Christmas season, obviously. Can you tell us the history of this nativity scene and how it got to be what it is today?
It began by Father Clistus Rechtenwald in 1927. He came to our parish from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1927. And he started the nativity with the stable made from a nearby pear tree, and it just grew over the years from that. And he is always floored by nativities. When he grew up himself in Pennsylvania, he and his family would go and see cribs at other places and houses and stuff. And so it was just a hobby of his that he enjoyed, looking at. And then when he became a priest at Vincent, he set the nativity up, and he also sold cribs as well and built little cribs and sold them along the way. So he began the nativity in 1927, and he passed away in 1980. He was at our church for 52 years.
Oh, wow.
The same priest. So,
and
that's another story in itself. Had we changed priests like always is, that crib would not be, because the next priest would have, after 10 years would have started something new before this nativity got so big the way it is today. And so that's why it's just a one man's vision of, over 52 years of what he wanted the vision for Christmas to be like.
Wow.
And so it grew, and he died in 1980, and we've been putting it up ever since. And he added to it over the years. of course, as electricity come on, he put waterfalls on the nativity, of course, and lights and stuff like that. But it just grew over the years, and we enjoy putting it up today. So
that is really cool. I think if I remember correctly, I was just talking about this with maybe my kids the other day. Was it St. Francis of Assisi was the first one to build a nativity scene, I think is what it was.
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, that tradition goes back quite a few years now.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that is really cool that you're carrying that on in such a magnificent manner. Did you have anything to add, Stephanie?
Well, I was just going to say that you can really see Father Klis's passion in what he put together. He has beautiful pieces of art that were brought in the statues of Mary and Joseph and the three kings. He also spent hours and hours building the little barns and the little houses all by hand, including, this is really cool, there are little tiny sheep made out of cotton balls and matchsticks that are really very interesting. If you look at it, you wouldn't think they were, but just really, really beautiful pieces of art. And you could just really see his passion for what he was doing.
That's awesome. And so he passed away in 1980. You guys have been doing it since. And so that's quite a few decades to be.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's 44 years now since his passing that it's been put up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow,
So,
that is wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you for continuing that. This is not so explain maybe first, how big is this?
Okay. It takes the Sacred Heart altar area up. So it's probably, Stephanie, would you say
Probably
12 feet wide?
Yeah, probably 12 feet wide, and it goes all the way to the ceiling.
So
Yeah.
to the back, so about 12 feet by 12 feet, and it's on an uphill to have a hill effect to it.
Yeah, and just to
Yeah.
give people, I would say it's worth your time to go see it, but
Yes.
just to kind of give a visual, a mental image for people that, we're talking about small little figurines. So we're not talking about one of those yard that you're like, 12 feet. Well, that's not really big. That's mine takes up more, no.
Yeah.
When you're talking about these little like marble sized things and stuff like that, there's a lot of intricate pieces that are
Yes.
involved in that. How long does it take you guys to set it up?
It's about 12 years this 12 hours this year.
Yeah,
Stephanie?
about
Mhm.
10 to 12 hours every year. We kind of have a setup where we have the crews come in, I guess you want to call them that. Some of the older kids and the adults will come in and pull a lot of the heavier equipment out and kind of set up the base for it. And then the next day is when the kids arrive and chaos ensues, and we have garland and holly and rocks and figurines all over the place. But by the time we're done, it is breathtaking to see it. It really is very beautiful.
So
Mhm.
do you guys set it up the exact same every year, or is there differences? Or?
The houses are in the same area.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes there may be 3 houses on this layer. Some years there may be 4 houses on that layer. But the stable is always in the center.
Mhm.
That's the only thing that definitely will not move, because the sidewalk and all has to line up with it.
The
Yeah.
waterfalls and we have fountains and waterfalls. Those kind of stay in the same place, but we also find out that with the kids, they have a little different vision every year. So they may put sheep on this side and the donkeys on this side. So we kind of let them do their thing, and it always ends up looking great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the children, the parish, that's their project every year. They look forward to it, and they we just put them up there. They build, and Stephanie is great at she brings a lot of food for them too. So they have cookies
that always
and
gets the
soup all day.
kids. Yeah,
They will work for cookies.
absolutely.
So the children, they like last year they wanted to make a cave on the top layer out of and put some little deer and stuff in a cave. And so this year they have 2 caves now up on the top. So it's just and they just love saying, "Hey, grandma, look at my cave up there." It's just gives them a sense of ownership and belonging to the church.
That is
So,
fantastic. Yeah, that's a whole nother way then to get them excited to be part of the parish community.
yes.
So
Mhm.
cool that maybe that's what draws them in to then continue on
Right.
doing things within the church. And we had some people in here earlier, and they were youth from TMP, and they were talking about the spiritual and corporal works of mercy.
Yeah.
And this may be one of those things that actually catapults kids into like, this was really nice to be able to do this for our parish community. So
Right. I remember when I was a kid, you know, I didn't even have a driver's license, and I was driving to church to help set the nativity up, you know. Law enforcement heard that, but yeah, but it's just in the country, you know, it's just some things we did, and it's just, we, you know, couldn't wait to get there to do it, and you know, just go home after dark, and just enjoyed doing it, and that's probably, you know, these kids today, hopefully they will keep on that passion as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm going to break
Yeah.
really quickly. I don't see that we have a trivia winner yet. So just call, take a guess. It doesn't matter. If you get it wrong, that's okay. Let's get us a winner because we still also, oh, wait a minute. I've got a question, a thank you, and a congratulations. So we're going to go with, let's go with the congratulations and thank you. First, let's congratulate Ted and Janine Carter. They were just in here speaking with me this last hour, and they won the quart of frankincense and myrrh handcrafted coconut wax candle, which was given away by Dave and Cindy Lang. And they were given that because they were the first $100 donors of this hour. So Ted and Janine, thank you so very much. Want to thank them again for their testimony, and also thank you for your donation. If you have a donation, call 785-621-4110. It's because people like Ted and Janine and everybody who is out there listening, who has donated, that we get to be on here. And this is such a beautiful season. You know, our theme is joy of the gospel. Right now, we're talking with Randy and Stephanie, and we're talking about the little town of Bethlehem, which is in St. Boniface in Vincent. And it is it's just a great time of the year. If you can't be filled with joy in this season, well, I don't know what's wrong. But especially things like this, you can just go and visit it and be filled with joy. And we get to sit here and talk about it. So please call in and help us to continue spreading joy. 785-621-4110. Okay. I also want to read that question one more time. Take a stab at it. How many times has Father Fred been featured on Double-Edged Sword? Is it A, over 500, B, 275 to 300, C, 150 to 200, or D, 350 to 375? How many times has Father Fred been featured on Double-Edged Sword? Is it A, over 500, B, 275 to 300, C, 150 to 200, or D, 350 to 375? I'll give you a clue. It's somewhere between 0 and 500. All right. Please call in 785-621-4110. We're going to get back to Randy Huser and Stephanie Eckroat. And we're talking about the little town of Bethlehem. So just got done discussing how long it takes to set up, the beauty that you guys have the kids come in and help with that, and you know, the joy that that can have. So you guys have a visitor sign-in book, and who has traveled the furthest that you have seen to come see this?
There's people from all over the world. I know, especially like foreign exchange students like at TMP.
Oh yeah.
Or if someone from Victoria come out, they want to find a rock from their country. So that's kind of
really?
neat to you know, let them go through, and because many of the rocks, there's rocks from all 50 states and 105 countries on the nativity.
Oh really?
And many of those are labeled. So they will try to find a rock from where they're from and take a picture of course, send it back home.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's we get a lot of those people that are, you know, since it's, you know, a worldwide representation of Christmas, they want to find something where they're from. Yeah.
That is fantastic. No, was that was Father the one that started getting the rocks from different countries, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of times the soldiers, when they went away to different countries for being posted in the military, they would send back or bring back rocks and different trinkets for Father Callistus to add to the display. So like Randy said, there's rocks from 105 countries, all 50 states. There's some cypress wood, just all kinds of crazy things you wouldn't think about, but and they're little tiny labels on them, so you can turn them over and you can see this came from Arkansas or somewhere. So really interesting that he spent a lot of time. Like I said before, he just had so much passion for what he was doing, and it really reflects in the presentation of the nativity.
That is really cool. What are some of the things that have come from the furthest away? Do you know just some of the things that are in the nativity itself?
I know there's a Christmas Island where the nuclear testing was done in 1962. That's an interesting story. It's probably about 10 years ago. We had Dick Weaver from Hayes, Kansas here. He came out to visit the nativity one Sunday in December. And he asked if we had anything from Christmas Island, and we said no. And so the following week, he brought a shell from Christmas Island, where when he was in the military, he did the nuclear testing in 1962 in Christmas Island. And with that, he brought a picture of the nuclear testing. It was just a big, glow in the air. And of course, as a serviceman, he said our backs were to that, and it was all the heat we could take just to stay alive. And so, it just kind of gets emotional to talk about.
Holy cow!
So he brought us that from Christmas Island, and that started something. So then when we took the nativity down that year, we went through every rock. And if they were from a place of war, like, Korea, Vietnam, Japan, Germany, we saved those, and we have those in a special section now over on the windowsill with a cross on it that, what does it say? Home of the free because of the brave.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of our military part of the nativity. So that's just those, of course, from the other side of the world all over. But
wow.
It all started because Dick Weaver brought us that Christmas Island rock. And today we display that rock right in the center of the crib and he brought us a little sticker to put on it of his name and where it come from in the year. So that was just a real touching moment.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So,
are you guys able to be there and visit with a lot of people that come to see it then, or?
Sure. So every Sunday we have people from the parish that volunteer to basically babysit the crib, is what we call it. And we greet guests. We have cider and cookies, and we help answer questions and tell them the stories of the crib. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, what do they say about the crib? And it's like, well, it's more about what they don't say, because when it's quiet in there and the water's running and the lights are low and it's shining on the crib, you don't have to say anything. You just feel that magic happening right there. And it can make you a little emotional sometimes sitting there and they just are so reverent of what they're looking at. It's just amazing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Many people tear up when they come to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's just because you have to, I guess you have to be there to see it. Like Stephanie said before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to describe it to people. You need to come see our crib. And it's like, well, what is it like? And it's like, I can tell you, but until you see it, you just don't know.
Well, it's one of those things too, where it's, you can take a picture of a sunset and stuff like that, and it's pretty, but it's not the same as it is in person. Right.
Exactly.
So to get the full effect of it, you got to go out there and see it.
Yeah. And just hearing the trickling water, there's 4 waterfalls on the nativity. Just hearing that, the sound of a waterfall in the silence, of everything else, and just seeing the glow of the nativity, it just, it's something you don't see any other minute throughout the year.
Yeah.
Or experience.
And I would say coming up this weekend, we have 24-hour adoration. And I know when I spend my hour of adoration in the quiet and the calm and the darkness and the light on the crib, it's very, I don't know. It just really gets to you.
So you've got adoration coming up
Yes.
in there. Okay. And when did you say that is?
Randy, you can tell them.
We start Saturday morning at 8:00 and we end Sunday morning at 8:00. And Bishop Vinky will be here Sunday. He comes every year to see our nativity. So he will close the adoration at 8:00 and have mass at 8:30 on Sunday at Vincent. So.
Okay, and that's this Saturday to this Sunday. Okay,
it starts the Saturday morning at 8:00 to Sunday morning at 8:00, and the families take turns an hour at a time to be at the adoration. Mine is from 2 to 3 in the morning, so I will be really tired Sunday.
We're all dairy farmers, so that's normal hours for us.
Okay, gotcha.
I always volunteer for the late nights too, for early mornings.
But it's just that, like my hour from 2 to 3 in the morning, there's. Of course, the nighttime people, we have the lights out in the church and just have the glow of the crib and the monstrance up there with the candle on both sides. And it just resets life for the time being, and puts things aside. And you bring out your important things and sit there for an hour. And there's no sirens, just, no planes, just nothing.
Yeah.
But the sound of the waterfall and the presence of the Eucharist.
What a beautiful scene because I'm here at the Adoration Chapel that we have here, our perpetual Adoration Chapel. I've got an hour early on Sunday mornings, and yeah, there's a lot of times that when I come in, the person before me will have the lights down very low,
Mhm.
and it's so calming, so peaceful,
Mhm.
and I mean, you just get filled with that peace and joy and just
Mhm.
content. And so then to be out there with that, with candlelight, but then also the crib there, that's just even an added, because that also, it gives you really something to ponder.
Yes.
That not that we need distractions, but I don't think that that's a distraction. I think that that's a very unique thing where you could come out there and really think about the birth of Christ, and
Mhm.
everything that's going on
Yeah.
as you're sitting there in front of him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think
Wow.
sometimes you just have got to get taken down that low for things to come to mind. When you're with, no distractions, absolutely nothing. Everything's out of your life except right there by the nativity, the sound of the waterfall and the monstrance.
Yeah,
It's just a time like no other throughout the year.
that's
So
awesome.
it pretty much, it sets the reset button in life. It pushes the
Yeah.
reset button and just takes you back, and it's like, okay, now we can go, get some things out of the way and go here.
Now I'm good.
Yeah, finally. That's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to break in one more time. We're going to try to get a trivia winner here. Last time that I'm going to ask this question, and then we'll move on after the after about 2:30. We'll move on and get another question. All right. So the question is, how many times has Father Fred been featured on Double-Edged Sword? Is it A, B, C, or D? Just take a guess. Is it A, over 500, B, 275 to 300, C, 150 to 200, or D, 350 to 375? How many times has Father Fred been featured on Double-Edged Sword? A, over 500, B, 275 to 300, C, 150 to 200, or D, 350 to 375. Last time I'll ask that question, and let's see if we can get us a winner here. I'm gonna look, if you're watching, can you see that? I put it on. There we go. Gave anybody who's watching live got a real quick look at it. See if you can get it. 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. That's also the number to call for your pledges. Let's get those telephone lines ringing. We started this morning with over $30,000 of matching funds. Those matching funds, people give them to us so that you will use them up. They really want to see their money go to keeping us on the airwaves. So please help them to use their own money. There's not many times when you get to use other people's money. And that's actually like a really good investment. If all my investments were that good that I could be like, hey, I'm going to give you this, and it's just going to double immediately within that second. I don't know of another investment that does that. Help us to invest in the salvation of souls. 785-621-4110. Let's see if we can get one donation from every kind of increment. So we got a $100 donation earlier. Let's see if we can get a $250 and a $500 donation this hour before we close it out. 785-621-4110. Thank you for donating. Keep us on the air. Let's get right back with talking about the little town of Bethlehem. And this is a nativity scene that is on display in St. Boniface and Vincent. And we've got Randy Huser talking with us and Stephanie Eckroat. And we're going to discuss a little bit more. Was there anything as we cut out there that you guys wanted to add before we kind of move on?
I guess just that labor of love that Father Callistus, built. He made all the houses, the bridges, the fences onto the nativity, added the waterfalls later on. There's coral from the reefs of Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on there. And that's interesting. And Father Callistus passed away in 1980, and he lived out there in the priest house. And then in 2014, we renovated the priest house, and we went through his desk drawers, which nobody really had done over those years. And we found letters that corresponded to some of those rocks we received.
Wow.
one the particular one was from Queensland, Australia. He sent a letter from in 1976, I believe it was, because it's wrote on the back of that coral from Queensland, Australia, and received by Father Rudolph, and that's the letter that Father Rudolph sent that we found in Father's desk drawer, from back in the 70s.
So do you guys still have those letters on display?
Yes, yeah, we have those we put those in a book. Yeah, it's that they correspond to what we've always known those rocks on the crib, but now we know their origins.
Oh wow,
so interesting. Yeah,
that is really cool.
Well, and one thing Randy didn't mention, this is our 98th year of putting up the crib, and so we're coming up on 100 years pretty soon, and we're trying to think of some cool ways to celebrate that and share that with other people. So hopefully maybe be watching for that in the next couple of years.
Yeah, so commemorative of some sort.
Absolutely. Now, what did he make? You said he made the buildings, the bridges and stuff like that. What did he make all that out of?
He found the lumber yard in Victoria would give him like scrap paneling or scrap wood, and he would make the structures with that. And then he would get like sand off the driveway and paint it a green, brown, whatever, and then he would glue that white or glue that to the houses or to the railings of the little fences or corrals, and it just to make a stone effect to it. So yeah, and of course the stable was first made from a nearby pear tree in 1927, and then it just grew over the years. He made stuff and always added to it.
Father, I talk like I know him. I feel like I do because I've been a part of this for so long. But Father also wanted to show in the nativity the settlers that were from the area. So that's why there is a dairy farm on the nativity. There's water wells. There's things that go back to the community that came in and settled the area. And he wanted to recognize those farmers that did that. He also has several places in the nativity, and you kind of have to look for them, but there are hints of the 12 days of Christmas. So we have 5 golden rings. We have swans a swimming. So
maids milking.
Yeah, maids milking. So just some interesting things you can look and say, oh, where's that at? I heard that he did that. And some of them you can find, some of them are harder to find, but
and of course the stable being made from a pear tree. So,
just really interesting little innuendos that go along with the part of the pieces of the crib.
So do you guys have something like a little, hey, do the 12 days of Christmas scavenger hunt for kids or anything?
We've had some religion classes come out already, and
we
would have them, okay, where's the 5 golden rings? And then the first one to find it, then, okay, where's the 7 swans of swimming? And then, they look and then, so we had some kind of like little trivia stuff with that.
That's awesome.
Finding stuff is pretty neat too.
Oh, that is good for the kids.
Yeah, kids love that.
Great to hear that. Really quickly, want to congratulate Catherine Fleming. She got the trivia question, which Father Fred has been on somewhere between 275 to 300 times on our double-edged sword program, and that is the program where we have our priests come on, and I think Father Fred is the originator of that program. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll find out. But that is awesome. Thank you, Father Fred, for that, and congratulations, Catherine, for knowing that. All right. Actually, I need my paper. I just threw it away, but I'm going to get it back because we're going to have another question here in a little bit. I'm going to make you guys wait a little bit because it took a while to get that one. So we'll get another question here in a little bit. First, we're going to get back to talking about the little town of Bethlehem. So you teased a little bit that here in a couple years, it'll be 100 years. Do people still, are they allowed to add to it? Are you thinking about, hey, maybe this would be cool to make this happen or something like that? Can you give us a little bit of a teaser there, maybe?
Every year there's a few things added. I know this last year we had a grotto with the statue of Mary in it. That was just added a few years ago, but then over the course of this last year, we had a parishioner, Linda Garner. She made a little stone, like a little stone inset for the Mary to be into. So it kind of replicates a grotto in itself. So that was added this year.
That is cool.
Well, and we've seen over the years that people come and visit once, and then the next year they come back with a gift, and they will leave something laying there like a rosary or a little rock or something. So we continually having people contribute and be part of what that community has developed. So they're part of our community now. They're enjoying the crib and making the relationship with the people that live there.
Last year we had some concrete from Alcatraz Island donated to us.
No way.
Yeah. Family brought it, and after they gave it to us, they were in tears. So we didn't ask any questions. We just appreciate the story that they have behind it that we don't have to know, but Alcatraz Island is on there. So
oh my goodness. Wow.
yeah. So
yeah, people have a real big tie to it then. And
mhm.
oh wow, that is so cool. Is there a point when it might get too big?
The top layer always has the big rocks. So I guess we always, if we run out of room down below, we just put more bigger rocks up top, because it's more like a mountainous look and that's our wildlife area with, the fox, the coyotes, the deer, the elk, they're all up on the top layer, away from the civilization.
And that's what was cool too, is Father incorporated all those animals into the nativity, understanding how important it was for the farmers to have the animals for food and fiber and the wildlife and different things like that. So it's very touching that he just reached out and thought about all the little things that went into that community and incorporated it into the nativity.
That's awesome. Is there something that you guys are looking for that you'd be like, what would be really cool if we had this?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on there.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the kids that set it up this year, he wants to make more of a peak in the center, because it goes straight across in the back. And he said, you need a peak so that takes you to the focal point down to the crib scene. And he's in high school, age kid. And so that's how I said, well, build that for next year. So we will probably change it a little bit next year, just make it a little peak to the way he wants it on top. So
that is cool.
Yeah, got to let them have their input, otherwise it doesn't mean as much to them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, really quickly, I want to break back in now with our second question. So I think that was Father Damien maybe supposed to be here originally at this time, and you guys traded for it?
Right.
Okay, because he had a funeral to go to. Because this is a question about Father Damien. So I'm going to use it anyway, because, hey, he's my pastor, great guy. And although it maybe doesn't have as much to do with this question right now, but I bet he probably has some things to say about this. He's probably been out there and visited this thing. So we're going to ask, what year was Father Damien ordained? Is it A, 2001, B, 1992, C, 1982, or D, 1998? What year was Father Damien ordained? A, 2001, B, 1992, C, 1982, or D, 1998? 785-621-4110. That's the same number you can call to give us your pledge. You can do both also. You don't have to just call in with just a guess or just a pledge. You can call in with a pledge and a guess. And if you get that right, we're going to enter you into a drawing. And then at the 6 o'clock hour, we'll pull out one name, and that person will get a $50 gift certificate to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts here in Hayes. Jerome and Angela Schmeidler, they are the owners of it. I can't say it enough. They're great. Their daughters are wonderful young ladies. They help them out. I was just in there here a couple times within the last week or two. And one day their daughters greeted me. One of their daughters gave me a little inspirational sheet to take with me, and it had a little like lifesaver tape to it. It was just adorable. And they are great people. And they run a wonderful business here in Hayes. We thank them for supporting our radio station and for giving out these gift cards. I wish that I could win one. But unfortunately, I can't, because I have all the answers. So if you think you got that answer, 785-621-4110, and you can call to give us your pledge. Please do that. We are on the air talking with Randy Huser and Stephanie Eckroat, and we're talking about the little town of Bethlehem. But we're doing that because we're on our fall Care-a-thon, and our theme is Joy of the Gospel. One of the things that can give us great joy is spending time in front of things like this wonderful display at St. Boniface and Vincent. And there are so many things within it that you can just sit there contemplating the birth of Christ, contemplating all of the different things that surround it. And as you're looking, you can really just kind of start taking it in, being quiet, listening to, as you guys said, the flow of the water and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get right back to that. First, I want to congratulate Rachel Robin. All right, Rachel, congratulations for getting that trivia question right. Father Damien was ordained in 1992. We will get you put into that drawing. Call 785-621-4110. Let's get back to talking about the little town of Bethlehem. So we've discussed a lot about different facets within it and stuff like that. We've even talked about the adoration that you guys are going to be having this Saturday. What other draw is it that, like, when you tell people just come see it, why do they need to just come see it?
Well, I feel like people, I don't think you've seen a crib like this in your life, and it's definitely can be life-changing just because it is so unique and so different. It's not like the big ones you see in the yards that people have. It is very tiny and unique and just really interesting to see. And you can come year after year and you're going to see something different every time you come. There's that much in the crib to see.
Yes. And some people, they will be there for an hour and they say, we see something every minute we haven't seen the minute before. Yeah. So just, there's thousands of little pieces if you consider all the rocks, the animals, the buildings put in place, and getting every little animal to stand on the little cotton cloth. Sometimes it's a challenge without falling over. Yeah. So it's just unique. It's it's a worldwide representation of Christmas, and that can't really be found anywhere.
And if you want to maybe see it before you actually come out, there's going to be a PBS on Smoky Hills, PBS.
Really?
Ed Laurie did a project with us a few years ago, and they're going to be airing that coming up. They're going to do one this Sunday at 6 p.m., next Friday, the 13th at 1:30, and Saturday, the 14th at 6 p.m. And it's on the Cottonwood Connections show, and it's called High Plains Holiday.
Okay.
So if they can't make it out, or they want to maybe see a preview before they come out, they can check that out this weekend.
On Smoky Hills,
Yep.
PBS.
That is cool.
Came out last year, a guy, and he brought his camera equipment. He took a lot of pictures, and then he came back out a week later to take some more and do some interviewing, and he got it ready for this year's production. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Are there any pieces within the scene itself that are really your guys' kind of favorites?
For me, I guess, the waterfall. Father Clissus had a little waterfall. It was about a foot long waterfall. And so when I was a sophomore in high school, of course, at that age, you think of everything. And so a friend of mine, Lauren Von Linnell, here's our neighbor, and he's raised on a dairy farm too. So we got an old piece of roof capping, and it was found in the granary at home up in the rafters, and we turned it upside down, and we made another river and extended it to it. Added the river to about 3 feet of river instead of just one. Mm-hmm. So and so that was our little addition to, as 15, 16-year-olds to the nativity. But that was a story because it was 10 degrees at home in the garage, and we were gluing the rocks to that tin, and then we took the river to the church, and it all warmed up. The rocks were falling off, and we had to take it over and redo the whole thing. But yeah, that's kind of my little area to the crib that I guess I contributed as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. So
that is great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to say my favorite part. I first off, I wasn't born and raised in the area. I've been a member of St. Boniface for a little over 20 years, maybe about 23 years. But the thing that I admire the most about the crib are the figurines themselves of Joseph, Mary, baby Jesus, the three kings, the camel, and there's a little boy holding the camel. They are such beautiful pieces of art. We wrap them very carefully every year. They started the crib in 1927, so these are probably from 1927, 1928. Wow. They're very old. But anybody that appreciates that kind of, I love antiques. It's beautiful. And so that's one of my favorite parts, is to understand how old those little pieces, those figurines are. Mary, Joseph, and the three kings came from Germany. Who sent them or brought them, I'm not even sure they know. and the baby Jesus came from Spain. So, and they look like a beautiful set, like
Yeah.
but they came from two completely different places. And the
Wow.
fact that they are so old and so fragile, the kids are not allowed to touch those.
Yeah.
I was going to
They're on the
say,
bottom, yeah.
I was gonna say, I would not let my
Yeah.
children touch
Yeah,
those.
they are wrapped in cotton and put in their own little cases. And then when we get ready to put them out, we set them out in their place because they are very fragile and old.
And they are the last to go in the nativity because
Yes.
they're right in front.
Yes, the very last
Okay,
pieces.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
to me,
Mhm.
that is the most, this is my favorite part because I can look at those and that to me represents other parts of the world, people everywhere. And they're so old and so fragile that they're just amazing pieces of art. They're beautiful art.
And we have a rock from the Cave of Lords and also from the Sea of
Oh,
Galilee
really?
while Jesus walked on water. And there's some from Fatima. And so we've always knew those rocks and they're labeled. And
Mhm.
so it was about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, we thought we would make a little grotto of Mary and have those rocks where she appeared in front of the grotto. And so the first couple of years we did that. I bought a statue of Mary and I had it at home. So I brought it up to church to use for that grotto. Well, then my dad's sister lives in Huser, Stella Brown. I think she's 87 now, but she was out at her 85th birthday party, and she came with a little statue of Mary. And but back up a couple of years when my sister Geraldine Shippers and I wanted to put that little grotto up. I told Geraldine, I said, "Where's that little statue my grandma Huser had on the farm of Mary with little blue lights around her? She had it in her house." And Grandma passed away in 1985, and we hadn't seen it since. And I live in Grandma's house now, and I hadn't seen it, when I moved in there. And then so neither of us knew. Like one of the kids got it, or there was 8 kids to divide things up, so thought we'd never see it again. But it was in our memory from growing up. And then I was out at Stella's 85th birthday party, and she said, "Rainey, I got something I want to give you." And she brought that little statue out from her bedroom, and she said, "I want this to go back to Vincent."
Wow.
So
She
we
heard
put-
you. She knew you needed it.
so that little grotto of Mary is on there, I think 3 years now,
Mhm.
the one I have there. The interesting thing of that whole story is Father Callistus gave that little statue of Mary, it's plastic with blue lights and set in it,
Uh-huh.
to my grandma for birthday or Christmas back in the 50s. And my Aunt Stella got it. And it's back to me and now back to Father's crib.
Oh my goodness.
What a trip.
That is really cool. Do you guys
So-
have other stories like that you can share with me?
Well, I think Randy needs to tell you the story about Father Callistus because
His-
I wish I could have met him because he was truly an amazing person and obviously has made a huge impact on this community and the people there because they love him and they remember him. And Randy was a child when he was there, but he has some great stories about him.
He passed away 2 weeks before my first communion. So
Okay.
that, I still remember his last mass because he passed away right after mass. But he was, when he did the nativity, or he had his servers or boys, his parish kids help him. Mowing in the summer, the kids come in a lot. He was always interacting with the parish kids a lot, and that's what drew them to the church. And of course, then the next generation done it after he passed away, and now keeps going like that. But Father, he came in 1927 and he was here for 52 years. And the story of how he passed away, there was five things he was praying for every day. He said 5 rosaries a day for the 5 things he wanted in his life, to end his life with. He wanted to be of service to the end. He wanted to, I have them all wrote down there because when he wanted to be of service to the end, he didn't want to be a burden to anybody. He did not want to go to the rest home. He wanted to die with his people, and he wanted his altar boys around him. He got them all 5 answered. It was the Sunday after Easter, 1980. He was too ill the Sunday on Easter to say his Easter sermon during that Mass. So he said his Easter sermon the Sunday after Easter of 1980. And in that sermon, he made a quote. He said, "The youngest," how would the quote go? So anyway, he made a quote in a sermon about death. It was a death quote. It'll come to me here in a minute.
That's
But
okay.
Anyway, he finished Mass that day, and so he had those 5 wishes. And he always entered Mass and ended Mass through the doorway. He didn't come up the aisle like we do today. So he ended Mass, and as soon as he walked through the doorway into the sacristy, he collapsed and died.
in the church.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Yeah, that's,
Among his people with his altar boys.
Wow.
Served
Yeah,
till
to
the end.
yeah.
And
And my
was
oldest-
not a burden.
Yeah.
And didn't go to the nursing home.
That's right.
So
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And my
Wow.
oldest brother Kevin was a server in front of him and caught him on the way down.
Really?
So that's special to his memory. So,
Oh my goodness. So your brother still around here too?
yes,
or-
in North Victoria, Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then
Yeah. Mhm.
he still has a very big tie to this also. Does he
Yep.
come back then and help or come back and see it?
Yes,
And-
he's a member of our parish. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his son now helped in the crib a lot this year.
Oh,
He's a
really?
junior in high school. Yeah.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
he's the tall one, so he could reach way up high.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
all those ties now that are coming full circle.
Yeah. I just thought of the
That's
quote.
awesome.
Yeah. Our personal Easter morning is not far away for even the youngest among us. It's a death quote.
Wow.
And when he finished mass that day, he collapsed in the doorway of the sacristy, and his
Nice.
5 prayers were answered.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
and tying that to his nativity,
Yeah.
44 years after he's passed away, or 98 years in existence.
Yeah.
There's definitely some power up above.
Absolutely. You got that right,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
So now, and you talked about PBS is going to run that
Mhm.
special, so people can kind of get a little peek of it. But if they do want to come out, what are your regular hours so that they can come see it and make sure that they don't stop out when it's closed? or-
Right.
Mhm.
So we're open every Sunday through the month of December. So the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd. And we're open from 1 to 5.
Okay.
And come hungry. We'll have goodies. And don't hurry to leave. You can stay as long as you want. There'll be somebody there to visit with people about the nativity, tell some stories, or leave you in peace if that's what you want. We also help people take photos because a lot of times they want to take a photo in front of it, and we'll help them do that as well. And then if you can't make one of those times, or maybe you have a special group that's coming through during the week, you can give Carol Freitag a call. Her number is 785-735-9282. And she will meet you out there and unlock it and get it all opened up for your group to come through. So if anybody out there has a special group coming, don't hesitate to call. We love to share our nativity with anybody that's willing to come see it.
That's awesome. So is there anything that we left out that you guys would like to let us know before you guys head out today?
I don't think so. I
we
think
covered
we got it all. Randy had his great stories about Father Callistus, and the community is very excited to have it open for everyone to come to visit. So
Yep.
Okay.
come
We're
see it.
an active parish. We we're all volunteer based and do all we can. The crib is just an example of the volunteerism in the parish. And then throughout the year, we have a rain mass, usually in April time area.
Okay.
We'll have a special mass during the week for rain and blessing of crops and stuff and plants.
Yeah.
We also have a church fundraiser in the fall where we have a German buffet, which smells
Ooh,
delicious.
yeah.
Yes, you walk in the door and you will smell like sauerkraut immediately. But
That's okay. I like sauerkraut.
yeah, it's our major fundraiser for the year, and the ladies of the parish make great homemade German food every fall. So watch for that next year if somebody wants to come get some great food.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so very much. We really appreciate your time here with us. I mean, and keep it up. If there are, you obviously can't accept everything. Like,
Yeah.
if someone's like, "Oh, hey, I was driving down the road and I found this really neat shiny rock the other day." You're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe not so much that, but if there was something that was really special, would they just get a hold of you and call Carol, call you guys or something and say, "Hey, this is special and this is why. Could it be a part of this?"
Yeah. Or just bring it. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Just reach out to
Yeah.
Carol or
Mhm.
bring it along with you. And if it's a rock or something small, if they could label it so it's ready to go onto the crib, that would be handy for us.
Yeah.
Because we do get a lot of different things, and sometimes we don't have all the information. People just leave them, and which is fine too. But it's really nice for us to know where they came from, and if there's something attached, special meaning attached to it, it's good for us to know.
And for going back to the rock from Cave of Lords, that was in, I think, 1970s, early 70s. It's labeled on that little label on the rock itself. It's a pretty good, decent sized rock. But I'm sure nobody could walk away from the Cave of Lords today with a rock.
No.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't
It's just,
think
a
so.
lot of places.
Yeah,
you
please
plug-
don't
you-
bring us anything
Yeah.
majorly illegal.
Yeah,
That would not
yeah,
be good. We don't want to
but,
get anybody in trouble or
Yeah.
anything. But
Hey, I stole this.
Yeah,
From, yeah,
yeah.
no, you go ahead and
yeah, let's
no,
not do that.
let's not have that one.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, just very, the Sea of Galilee is just having a rock where Jesus once walked on water, maybe right above it. We don't know.
You
Yeah.
never know.
Interesting. Yeah.
I would also say this: if you're looking for a Sunday to come to a different church, come visit us sometime. We'd love to have you come to Mass. My husband and I used to live in the Vincent area, and we've moved over to Hayes, but we still do Mass at Vincent. It means that much to us. So.
Mhm.
And it is it's great to be able to travel around and see all the little parishes around our areas, and just also just admire what the people did to build those churches and stuff too. Do you know when was St. Boniface?
It was December 18th of 1907 was dedication
Okay.
day. So
Okay.
it was so in December 18th of 2007 was our 100th anniversary, and that would happen to be on a Tuesday. And so the bishop was out the Sunday before to celebrate it with our 100-year anniversary, and that's how our 24-hour adoration came about. So we thought, okay, Tuesday was the actual day, December 18th of 1907 to 2007, and our church is going to be out there in the cold, in the dark, and nobody there throughout the whole day. So we did a midnight to midnight adoration on our 100-year day.
Oh,
And so
there you go.
Every year since 2007, we've been doing that ever since, and it's just we love it. It's just to go there and in that calmness of the country and all by yourself. It's just it's almost indescribable. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Well,
So-
thank you both for
Mhm.
your time. I really appreciate it. I know our listeners appreciate it. And if you are out there listening, go see it. It's worth it. And spend some time, like you guys said. Just sit in the quiet, spend some time, and contemplate the birth of our Lord.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Fall Care-a-thon, The Joy of the Gospel. So we were just talking with Randy Huser and Stephanie Eckroat, and they were talking about the little town of Bethlehem, which is at St. Boniface in Vincent, and it is definitely worth going to see. If you need information on that, you can get a hold of either of them, or you can also call Carol Freitag and ask them, and they can help you to get in to see that and enjoy it with everybody else. I also want to remind people of a few things before we leave for a quick break. So one of them is I'd like to hear more questions from people for our on-air guests. And so if you have a question for an on-air guest, please call 785-621-5061. That doesn't mean that we have to put you on the air. Nathan, can we put them on the air if they want to?
We absolutely can, yes. If anybody has a question, sorry.
Go ahead.
If anybody does have a question for any of our guests at any time, you just call that number that you just gave,
Okay.
and we can patch you right through into the studio.
But if they don't want to,
You don't
ask
have
it,
to.
then they can just ask it to you, and you guys will get it to me
will
on the
just
computer.
give it to you on the computer. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So that gives us exactly what we wanted to know, because sometimes maybe you want to just speak directly over the air, and maybe sometimes you'd rather not. So if you have any questions, we've had some amazing guests on. Please ask them the questions, get them to us, because then it becomes even more personalized just to you. There are a lot of people in our listening area, and there are a lot of people who have traveled to be able to make it here today from your areas also. And so this isn't just Hayes, this is our entire listening area. Please call in if you have any of those questions, 785-621-5061. Also, I want to remind people of our matching funds. We started this morning with $30,310 in matching funds. We'll try to get you where we're at the end of the day here, but I imagine we're down to about $26,000 of those matching funds. We want to use those all up, and we need to use those all up so that we can get to our goal of $125,000. So just because we're about to go off the air for, well, not off the air completely, but we're going to go away from the Care-a-thon for just a little bit and have a break doesn't mean that you can't call in with your pledge. Please continue listening. Please continue calling with your pledge, 785-621-4110, or you can donate at dvmercy.com. Also go there if you want to watch the thermometer and see how we're doing every day. You can go there for our normal programming, and also the entire schedule for the week of who the guests are, especially if you have somebody who's coming on that you know of, a guest that you really appreciate and really want to listen to. Check that out so that you know when they're coming on. And then also call in and donate while they're on. It shows them the appreciation that you have, that they're giving of their time to come on and have that discussion with us. We really appreciate their time also. Please keep us on the air. Help us to get these radio waves out to as many people as we can. We are on our fall Care-a-thon of Joy of the Gospel, and that's what we want to do, is share that joy out there with others. 785-621-4110. As we start getting to the 4 o'clock hour, I'll give you guys just a little bit of advice. Is the questions are then going to become just for people who are 16 or under. So all you adults out there, you've had your chances throughout the day. When we come back at the 4 o'clock hour, it's going to be just for people 16 and under. So get your kids ready, get their phones ready, keep listening, and let them listen with you. Really quickly, ways to listen are on the radio at 101.7 Lindsborg and Salina, 105.7 Hayes, 88.1 Great Bend, 88.1 Hayes, and 89.1 Colby. You can also listen at dvmercy.com and click listen live. You can download the smartphone app simply by typing in Divine Mercy Radio in your app or Play Store. You can listen on Amazon Echo by saying, Alexa, enable the Divine Mercy Radio skill for Lindsborg or Salina and Salina station. Or you can say, Alexa, enable the Divine Mercy Radio skill KMDG for the Hayes station. Then after you do that once, you should just be able to say, Alexa, play Divine Mercy Radio in Lindsborg, Salina, or Alexa, play Divine Mercy Radio KMDG for the Hayes station. You can also watch us live on Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. I forget sometimes, so you can watch how many times I scratch my face or sniff or do other things, and you can laugh and just whatever. But find us live. Call us at 785-621-4110. Give us your pledge, and we will be back here at the 4 o'clock hour. Once again, you're listening at 101.7 KJDM Lindsborg and Salina, 105.7 KMDG Hayes, 88.1 KRTT Great Bend, 88.1 KBDM Hayes, and 89.1 KGOH Colby.